Railroad crossings are the most dangerous place on the railroad for the locomotive driver and the automobile driver as well. Sometimes, though, people are desperate enough to jump crossings just to save a few minutes off their commute, just like this bus that hit the Amtrak train, which has been obviously destroyed. Every 90 minutes, a train hits a car in the United States. These accidents are usually preventable and most likely fatal. This video will showcase several wrecks that I have made and are not real wrecks. Note, no one was hurt during the making of this film. This car is headed to a crossing, and this Pennsylvania passenger train is headed to the exact same crossing. The car ends up getting stuck on the crossing. The driver goes out for help, but only seconds later, the Pennsylvania passenger train hits the car, and the car goes flying in the air, as you will see after the train leaves the shot. The car leaps through the air, lands in some trees, goes over the road, and goes into the river. This guy is sunk. When the man found his car, he kind of expected that would happen. They towed it out of the river safely, and it was sent for repairs. This is a Penn Central local freight train bound for Chicago. This is a very stubborn beer truck. This is what could have happened. But instead, this happens. Amazingly, neither driver was hurt, but the beer truck driver learned his lesson. Oddly enough, even people who shouldn't jump tracks do, as this bus will demonstrate as it tries to race the Amtrak train to the crossing. The bus does not even do its required stop before the crossing. The bus is easily pushed aside by the Amtrak E-units. The short train continued on for several miles before stopping. Thank goodness this bus was empty. It was going to collect passengers from the Amtrak train. The driver learned their lesson. Some teenagers see a chance to race a train to a crossing. They take out their muscle car and drive it onto the crossing in an attempt to race a Pennsylvania freight train. Here are the results of the race. It's a tie, which means the train wins. Only minor injuries were sustained. And as usual, lesson learned. How this happened is a mystery, but there's a mailman on the railroad tracks, about to be hit by Pennsylvania E-units. Don't ask how it got there, no one knows. The E-unit pushes it down the tracks, about 1.5 miles to be exact. And here's the end result. The driver went out for help, so therefore there was no one inside the van at the time of impact. A new resident to Tiny Town is going to run some errands. They get out of their driveway, go across 2 tracks, Just to say, the visibility past John's tool works is pretty bad, and you can't see the train until the last second. This person learned that the hard way. The engine pushes the car aside like it was never there. That's why the signs say stop, look, and listen. Crossings without gates are a hazard both to train engineers and automobile drivers. Take this for example. A train delivering the mail was running late, and the mail truck had to get its mail delivered on time. It passed a broken down fuel truck very quickly as it rushed to get over the crossing and to deliver its load. It knows what trains come when. But today, the truck saw the gates flashing. A Conrail local was early today. The truck was surprised, but he didn't see the train and thought he could beat it. He was wrong. This is what happens when you try to jump the crossing just to save a few minutes off your time. BNSF was shunting some cars in Railroad City, just like these three that are rushing past the camera now. This person was coming home from work and in a real hurry. Here is another shunting move. Our hurried driver tries to rush home. He had gotten out of work late and he needed to collect his kids from school, and he also needed to run lots of groceries, but first he needed to go home. Here's our BNSF shunting move again, heading towards the crossing. Here he goes past the auto show towards the yard crossing. The crossing has gates and bells and lights. And this is what happens to him. Destroyed by the train for gate jumping. Please, don't gate jump. It's against the law. The car was totaled in the wreck.